Strike is not currently targeting any production facilities in West Michigan. There is concern over the potential impact it will have on the GM factory in Wyoming.
Yeah, that is where we find our Michael Martin live outside that factory. Michael, just help paint an idea for us here about how that plant in West Michigan could be impacted by other strikes going on across the Midwest right now.
Max, Josh, yeah, as it stands right now, as you mentioned, not striking here at the plant in Wyoming, things going on as usual, but there is an air of concern going around because while they have not told these union members, these workers, that they are going to be tapped to strike, they do worry that that is a possibility. And speaking to businesses in the area who have these union members coming in day after day, especially over the past week, they say about every other person is mentioning their worries, not just the possibility of a strike coming down the line, but the potential domino effects from those other factories.
And unfortunately, we did not reach an agreement by the September 14th deadline. I want you to know it wasn't due to lack of effort.
While the GM facility in Wyoming, Michigan is still operating as normal, there are concerns that the strike at the GM assembly plant in Wentzville, Missouri could soon have an impact here.
You're going to see workers potentially laid off, hours cut, declines in spending, and that's going to ripple outward.
See, the plant in Wyoming produces, among other things, axles for trucks. The Missouri plant assembles the Chevy Colorado Express, along with the GMC Canyon and the Savannah. If the strike persists over several weeks and trucks aren't being assembled in Missouri, there may not be anywhere for the axles manufactured here to go, potentially sparking a round of layoffs.
It could be at least as long as potentially 40 days. It also really sort of raises the issue of, will there be political intervention? Will the courts intervene? Do the company, is the gap between them so big that cannot be bridged?
The UAW is asking for major wage increases, 40% over 4 years for their members, which they say is on track for what CEOs at the Big Three have been seeing over the last 4 years. They are also asking for a 32-hour work week. Democrats introduced a bill into Congress earlier this year called the 32-Hour Work Week Act on the heels of a number of European companies trying out the shortened hours.
It's absolutely critical for workers at this point. And I think there's been a lot of support, particularly in a cultural moment, for the UAW to really assert itself. And that's going to be really difficult for the Big Three.
Members also want to do away with the tiered wage system, which sees those union members hired after 2007 making almost half as much per hour as those hired on before that time. That request follows a move by UPS, who agreed to get rid of their tiered pay system earlier this year. Leadership at GM said Friday morning they hope not to see a repeat of the 2019 strike, which lasted 40 days.
If I learned anything in 2019, it's that no one wins when we're on a strike.
That strike cost GM about $3 billion.
Our bargaining teams on both sides have worked and will continue to work hard to make sure that we're able to find a solution. Our goal remains the same. We expect a fair contract which rewards team members and also protects our company's future.
Fox 17 spoke to several businesses around the GM plant Friday who say the atmosphere has been one of concern. Worry over whether this plant will be next to strike and what kind of potential domino effect could sweep through West Michigan.
Last time was much more about sort of wages and sort of like the system that we're working. This time it's really not just about wages and sort of work rules. It's really getting into the future of the auto industry itself. This is a transition from gasoline-powered vehicles over to electric powered.
So it seems both sides really hopeful that this won't be a repeat of 2019. As we mentioned there in the story, that one lasted 40 days. It was particularly targeted at GM and not the big three as this unique situation that we're looking at right now. But the company estimated that cost them about $30 billion. And certainly there's downsides from the workers, the union members' viewpoint as the strike drags on. So remains to be seen how much longer this will last. But of course, we'll continue to bring you updates. Live in Wyoming, Michael Martin, Fox 17 News.